everyone. Welcome to the Felicity Yarn Studio channel. My name is Zoe. I'm your host, and as always, I'm so happy to have you guys here with me today. This is a little bit of a special video. There's a 20 questions game going around the knitting and crochet community here on YouTube, and my sister Naomi, who is the yarn curator, tagged me to play along. So I thought that I would share a little bit more about myself with you guys so we can get to know each other a little better. So on that note, thank you so much to everyone who has been liking, commenting, subscribing. I really appreciate it. And I love seeing this little community grow. So I'm so happy to have you guys here with me on this little journey. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, I am at Zoe Nichols on Instagram and Ravelry, and you can find my hand-dyed yarn on Etsy under Felicity Yarn Studio. Now, Naomi was spinning during her little Q&A. I am not that skilled just yet. I wouldn't be able to hold eye contact with the camera if I did that, so I can kind of knit and do this at the same time, I think. So anyway, I am just gonna work on my stalactites a little bit here, and if you watched the podcast, I did move my marker from last time. I'll just give you guys a quick little update. So this is where I was at the end of the podcast, so I've gotten a fair amount done in the last few days. I do kind of want to finish this soon. The day after I recorded, I actually signed up to do a test knit, a sweater, so that doesn't start until December 10th. So I think I have plenty of time to knock this out between now and then, especially with the holiday coming up this weekend and all the traveling that we have ahead of us. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and dive right into the questions. Let me pull them up here. So, the first question we have is, what does your name mean? So my first name is Zoe, and that is Greek, and that means life or God-given life. It has grown in popularity since when I was a kid. I was always that kid who went to the gift shop and they never had anything with my name on it. So my middle name is Elizabeth, and I actually had to look this one up because for whatever reason I just don't store this information in my brain. But that means my God is an oath. And I believe that is a Hebrew root. And so Naomi did talk about our last name, which is my maiden name now, and it is Greek, and she mentioned that it means the clan of the owls or something along those lines in Greek, and I do remember hearing that growing up. The only other kind of further thing I have to add to that is I did some internet sleuthing, and I do not speak Greek. A lot of our cousins do, and that's kind of like more colloquial modern day Greek, whereas Naomi took ancient Greek in college. But my understanding is if you break the word down into its kind of root meanings, is the last half of the name means like from the island or from the area of or of this family or kind of attribute, or I'm probably not describing this very well. And then like the first half means something to do with like wise people or learned people. So maybe something like the family of wise people, or you know, maybe it had something to do with teaching or scholarliness. Which, if you think about owls being kind of a symbol of wisdom, owls were a symbol of the goddess Artemis. So who knows? Maybe there's some connection there. Maybe I'm taking a whole lot of leaps. I don't know. Yeah, so that's that. And just another thing I'll go ahead and say kind of up top is Naomi and I are sisters, so there's probably going to be some crossover in some of these answers. And if you don't watch her channel and haven't seen her video, I'd say check that out because she does have some interesting family history about us that I won't go over here again. But the second question is, where are you from? And this is where I think she covered some good points. Yes, a lot of people tend to ask that as trying to be a polite way of asking like what your ethnicity is, which I don't mind sharing. My dad is Greek and our mom is, well, we have the same dad, but our dad is Greek and our mom is Italian and Cuban. But I was born in Florida, which the third question is, where were you born? So I was born in Florida. Then we moved to Eastern North Carolina when I was about 13. And lived there for a long time until 2 years ago when Jason and I moved out here to Western North Carolina. So yeah, like I said, I won't go over everything Naomi did. I thought she did a good job of kind of tracing back our family history. I was born in Florida. Number 4, what would your parents have named you if you had been a boy? So for boys, the firstborn son gets named after the father's father in Greek tradition. So I would have gotten my brother's name, which is Peter. And actually they normally for the firstborn girl, you also get named after the mother's mother. So I actually would have been Elizabeth, or my grandmother went by Betty, if they had really followed tradition, but they did break tradition when they named me, so I'm kind of happy they did. I kind of like the name that I have now. It was a little tough growing up, though. Okay. Question number 5, what is your biggest accomplishment? And I don't know, this is a hard one to answer for me, because I'm not really big on bragging about myself, which I don't really feel like I'm bragging, but I guess for me the biggest accomplishment I have was taking a leap of faith and starting the hand-dyed yarn small business, setting up my Etsy shop, and even to some extent starting up this podcast. Those are pretty big, scary things to me, but I'm really proud of myself for following through. It's kind of a dream that I had for a long time, and I just never thought that, I don't know, I just never thought that it was something that I could really kind of do, and then I don't know what made me do it, but yeah, I'm really proud of myself for accomplishing that. And I guess that's an ongoing thing because I haven't really accomplished, like, I don't know what the end goal is there. Anyway, let's see, number 6, what is your eye color? I have very light brown eyes. They're kind of a golden amber color. It's probably hard to tell from all the way back there, but yeah, if you're up close, they're kind of a light brown color. Number 7, what is your favorite candle scent? So I don't typically burn candles anymore, but I do have a couple of wax warmers around the house, and I tend to go for light, clean scents like a fresh laundry smell, or lemon, or like a coconut lime verbena. I really like those, and I'll go for those more in the summertime. Anything citrusy, grapefruit or even orange, but not like heavily floral or like really fruity, like cherry tropical kind of smells. I don't like those. I do in the fall, I have a crisp apple smell that I tend to put in the warmers, and then in the winter, like around Christmas, I like to put in a nice pine tree smell. And the only thing is I have to get approval from Jason's nose before I put any new scents in the house, because his nose is pretty sensitive and it'll send him into a sneezing fit if I get something too flowery. Like I had, sidetrack here, I had some lotion that my mom had given me that she didn't really care for from Bath and Body Works, and it was like a rose scent, and I liked the rose scent, but it like set him off one night when I wore it a few weeks ago. And I hadn't worn it all year, and I finally decided to put some on, and it was just like the wrong night. I don't know. He was coming down with a cold at that point too, so. Anyway, number 8 is, can you cook? And yes, I can. Like Naomi said, you don't really grow up in a Greek, Italian, Cuban house with all the influences around you without picking up some cooking tips. I also just do really enjoy learning about cooking and food prep, and learning to describe like flavor profiles, and yeah, I really enjoy tasting food too, so like I'll try anything at least once. I'm not a picky eater at all. There's very few things that I don't like. So yeah, I enjoy cooking. I enjoy some shopping, like especially if it's for like specialty items or artisanal items. I'll splurge on some good cheese or butter or things like that. But I do not enjoy the cleanup, which I don't know who does enjoy the cleanup, but yeah. Let's see. What is good about your life right now? So that's a good question. I'm really happy with where Jason and I are, like, location-wise. We really enjoy this area that we've moved to. We're really happy that we actually did make this move. We're really not close to like a metropolitan urban area, but we're also near small town life still. We're near the mountains, so there's just a lot to offer for us. Hello, Dee. Yeah, so I'm just really enjoying being in my like 30s and just not caring anymore in a way, like, if that makes sense. Like, there's just something that comes with aging where I've always been fairly confident and comfortable in my skin, but when you reach a certain age, you just kind of, stuff doesn't bother you as much. So I guess that's what I'm happiest with right now. So that leads us to number 10. What is your sign? And I'm guessing this means my zodiac or astrological sign. Just to be clear up front, I don't put a ton of stock in this type of thing. But I am a Capricorn, and maybe it's just because I do not identify with hardly any Capricorn traits at all. From my understanding, Capricorns are like type A, very organized, very driven, like focused, and that is not me. I'm more a go with the flow, fly by the seat of your pants. Whatever grabs me at the moment is what I tend to work on. Yeah, I'm not a Capricorn. But see, and I don't really know any more than that about it. I don't know if I'm even describing it correctly. It's all a bunch of BS, if you ask me, anyway. Anyway, so question number 11 is, what scares you about aging? And this is a little bit of a loaded question for me. I might get a little bit vulnerable, get a little real with y'all here. So, 2 things. The first is that Alzheimer's and Parkinson's runs on one side of the family, and the thought of losing like mental faculties and losing control of your body really scares me. Yeah, I just have some memories of a family member who passed from that, and like there's a particular picture in mind where this person just has this look of fear in their eye, and I don't know, it's always kind of, it breaks my heart even just to think about it right now. So I don't know, I'd rather not suffer like that as I age. But the other thing is, I'm reaching an age where my fertility window is closing, and Jason and I have tried in the past, and we have some fertility issues on my end. I have something called PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and among the other awesome side effects that come along with that is a lack of fertility, or really more so a lack of ovulation. So I don't regularly make an egg every month, which makes trying to make a baby really hard. So I've gone through some treatment, and we did that a few years ago. It was pretty trying emotionally and physically, and especially mentally. Towards the end, I started to realize that I was sacrificing my mental health for this, and I don't think it gets talked about a lot within kind of the online community. It was the biggest place that I had any kind of interaction, but a lot of people don't mention stopping trying as a good option. There's a lot of this like pushing the message of hope, and oh, you just can't give up faith, and for a lot of people that might be true. For me though, the healthiest choice was to stop trying. So at that time we did, and like I said, I've got a birthday around the corner, so it always kind of comes up in the back of my mind, like I don't want a child solely to have someone to take care of us when we're older. Not by any means is that why we want to have a child, but a fear of aging is we won't have anyone when we're older to help take care of us. We do have 2 nieces, so it's not like we'll be completely alone, but you never know. Hopefully they still love us when they get older. So I don't know, I guess losing fertility is, or losing the opportunity is something that is always kind of in the back of my mind, and has been more so lately, the last few weeks even. So it's kind of interesting that that question comes up right now. I don't know if we'll try again. I kind of want to, but I also feel the need to self-preserve in a way. Anyway, I've gone on way too long about that. So yeah, yeah. On a lighter note, number 12 is, what is your favorite holiday? For me, that is definitely Christmas. I think I mentioned that in conjunction with the giveaway where I asked about y'all's favorite holiday. Yeah, I really enjoy Christmas. I enjoy buying presents for people. I really enjoy wrapping presents. I don't know why. I think that's a little weird, but yeah, it's just something that I really enjoy. And let's see, number 13 is, what is your guilty pleasure? So here's the thing. I just think life is too short to feel guilty about things that bring you pleasure. So, I don't know. I love a good piece of chocolate. I buy myself expensive yarn. I mean, maybe that's a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Again, we don't have kids, so I feel like I can splurge on those things. I guess maybe the biggest thing would be I occasionally will get sucked into some stupid reality show on Netflix or wherever, and yeah, I know it's garbage TV, but I guess I still get sucked into it like everybody else. So, number 14, what is your favorite show to binge watch? So first of all, I need my other yarn here real quick. So my favorite show to binge watch, what I like to do is, because Grey's Anatomy is so soap opera-y, maybe that's my favorite, my guilty pleasure show is Grey's Anatomy. I tend to get like 2 or 3 seasons behind, and then I will binge watch from season 1 all the way until I'm all the way caught up. So that's usually like a month's worth of TV that I can save up and get into. Hello, Robin. I don't know. I tend to binge watch all of them. I like to have a whole season at once. That way I don't have to wait from week to week to watch new episodes. So like I watched, I actually waited until the season finale of The Americans aired before I watched that show. That was a really good show as well. Yeah, I don't know. I tend to binge watch all my shows really in a way. So number 15, what's the one thing you can't leave the house without? My sunglasses and my knitting. I have to have both of those. Aside from like wallet, keys, and phones. I mean, that's pretty much a given, right? But yeah, I have to have sunglasses. Number 16, are you a morning person or a night owl? And I am, you gonna tell them? I am a night owl for sure. My body operates on a completely different cycle than most people's. I cannot fall asleep before 2 a.m. no matter what time I wake up in the morning. I can try to go lay down early and I will just toss and turn and my mind goes in a million different directions. It is what it is. I've just embraced it. I find that I'm more creative and more productive in the nighttime. So yeah, I'm a night owl. So next, let's see here. Number 17. What is your favorite genre of movies? So for movies, I tend to like comedies or romantic comedies, dramedies. I really enjoy a good period drama or costume drama. I feel like those are more mini-series than movies though. And number 18, what is the last thing that you bought? So the last big purchase that I made was a new handbag. There's a company that Naomi and I really enjoy, and they had a pretty big sale last week. So I splurged and bought myself a Christmas present. But the last thing after that though, I did go to the store and I picked up some fabric. I'd like to try sewing some project bags for myself. I have 2 sewing machines and I'm just getting around to setting one of them up since we've moved, and I don't sew super often. My skills do not extend beyond like straight lines at this point. I kind of go through spurts every couple of years where I start sewing again. So I'd really like to kind of, now that we're settled, I can get that all set up again. And yeah, hopefully I'd love to sew more of my own clothes and things. But that's definitely like intimidating to me. So down the road, perhaps. Let's see here. Our number 19, are you an introvert or an extrovert? I am most definitely an introvert. I tend to get like physically and emotionally drained by crowds of people. So we went shopping a couple of weeks ago around the Charlotte area where it's a little bit more populated, and I could tell by the end of the day I felt physically drained, and not just because I was tired, but just crowds of people like drained me. So I needed to come back and have a quiet evening to myself. Yeah, I'm for sure an introvert. I used to be more of a social butterfly, but I think it's just part of aging too that you become a little bit more of a homebody. But yeah, I really hate small talk, and I don't mind talking with you, but I'd rather have a meaningful conversation than just kind of chit chat to fill the time and the space. So that leads us to number 20, the last question. What is your favorite book? I can't pick just one. Since I love to read, my mom was a middle school librarian, so she's always recommending kind of young adult fiction that's interesting as well. So the first one that comes to mind is when I was an angsty teenager. I read this book so many times. I don't know why, I just really identified with it. And that is A Ring of Endless Light by Madeleine L'Engle. It's kind of a coming of age story about a teenage girl, and she deals with loss and grief and all of that. So yeah, I read that book a lot. Like, I had to buy a second copy, or my mom bought me a second copy of it or something. That's how much I read it. I do always kind of fall back on the Harry Potter and the Outlander audiobooks when nothing else is catching my ear for an audio book listen. But as far as a book that I've read like as an adult that just kind of stuck with me, I appreciated this book for its like gut-wrenching ending. I think I was finishing it when I was at work, like trying to hold it together, crying at my desk. This is when I worked at a call center. And that is Atonement, and I believe that is by Ian McEwan. That book is really good. I enjoyed the story, the time period, all of it. So one more honorable mention here. And again, it was just a gut-wrenching story. And this was a young adult book that my mom recommended. And that is The Book Thief. Again, a World War II story. It took me a little bit to get into this book because of the way that it is written, the style. But once you're into it, it's kind of hard not to, I don't know. It's just another one of those gut-wrenching, you know it's going to be satisfying yet tragic all at the same time. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely recommend all of those. All right, so that is my 20 questions. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Maybe a little bit of insight into me and my world. So I am supposed to now tag 2 people to play along. The first person that I will tag is gonna be Amy of the Happy Little Yarn podcast. Stumbled across her recently and I really enjoyed her podcast. And I guess the next person I need to tag is Susie from the Elderflower Stitches podcast, my new friend. I'm really curious what some of her answers are going to be since we tend to be so similar in a lot of other aspects. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any videos. But I will possibly be back with you again at the end of the week with Mom with a little bit of a knitting progress update for her. If I don't see you before then, I hope that you all have a lovely Thanksgiving and happy knitting. I will see you guys again soon.